working as a nursing professor and pursuing my PhD when I realized I wasn't fulfilled. I knew I wasn't fulfilled for quite a while, and what led to me not being fulfilled is that I chose to live my life the way society said.
Mm.
As a woman, I'm supposed to be busy taking care of everyone and everything else. And when I stopped and I realized I didn't know myself, when people ask me, well, what do you do for fun? Everything was about what I did with my kids or what I did with my husband, who was my ex-husband at this time. It wasn't about me. And I said, I wanted to do something not just for myself, but for other women, because we don't have to be this way. It doesn't make us less of a woman if we want to do something for us.
Hey there, and welcome back to the Bombshell Business Podcast. I'm your host, Amber Hurdle. Yet again, completely appreciative that of all the ways you could be spending your time, you're spending it with us here so that you can learn how to become a more bold, brave, and unwaveringly confident woman in business. And that is going to happen today because my guest is all about confidence and asking for your worth. We always talk about defining and positioning your value. That's my jam. Who we're talking to today is going to help you promote that value and get some dollar bills, y'all. So let me tell you about today's guest. Dr. Naieema is a sales and business strategist and the CEO of the Determined Fempreneur and host of the Determined Fempreneur podcast. She grew her business to a six-figure business in 1 year. And for service-based female entrepreneurs, they are the leading business and sales strategy program that helps their clients get to $30,000 months in 90 days while working less. So they do this by combining a unique blend of high-ticket sales, messaging, and automation. But don't worry, even if you're not like an online service-based business, you are going to get huge chunks of value today. We are going to have an awesome conversation. Welcome to the show, Dr. Naieema.
I'm so excited to be here. I love just the energy that's in a room when there's two powerful women talking to each other.
That's right. I love it. Even if it's a virtual room, it's just like it's emanating from the screen. So
yes,
I'm super pumped to talk to you.
Yes, I'm excited to be here. I've listened to your podcast. I want to tell you it's amazing, and I'm happy that you chose me to be on your podcast.
Absolutely. Well, we're happy to have you. I have so much to ask you about, but I really want to hear your story of how you went from, I want to have a business to six figures in a single year, because that's a hard feat to accomplish, especially as a solopreneur. Can you just walk us through that journey?
Yeah, so I'm a registered nurse by profession. In fact, I was working as a nursing professor and pursuing my PhD when I realized I wasn't fulfilled. I knew I wasn't fulfilled for quite a while, and what led to me not being fulfilled is that I chose to live my life the way society said. As a woman, I'm supposed to be busy taking care of everyone and everything else. And when I stopped and I realized I didn't know myself, when people ask me, well, what do you do for fun? Everything was about what I did with my kids or what I did with my husband, who was my ex-husband at this time. It wasn't about me. And I said, I wanted to do something not just for myself, but for other women, because we don't have to be this way. It doesn't make us less of a woman if we want to do something for us. So as a nurse, I thought I should be, and I'm putting quotation marks up if you're not watching, I thought I should be a health coach because that's what you're supposed to do, right? And though I liked doing it, I called myself Naieema the nutritionista. It's really, really corny, but that's what
we all start somewhere. We all listen. I hear you. Same.
And literally in my 4th month of business, I had my first 10K cash month, 24K sale month. And I was like, oh, I'm new though. How did this happen? And one thing I started to do was I started to take strength assessments, like Clifton strength assessments, Colby A strength assessments. And it taught me, it said, literally, you are a natural salesperson. Communication was my first, and my Clifton, and Colby was like, you're a natural salesperson. So I was like, oh, so nursing actually hid a lot of my talents.
Oh, but that's what you should do.
There you go. So I said, I am on to something. When you look at the stats, unfortunately, less than 10% of women entrepreneurs ever make it to a six-figure year, ever.
Say that to statistic one more time.
Less than 10% of female entrepreneurs, whether online or brick and mortar,
Oh my gosh,
have ever hit a six-figure year ever in their businesses. So I said, okay, I'm doing this. And okay, 10K month 4, 24K month 7, 30K month. And I'm talking about cash. I'm not talking about people yelling, I had a 10K month, but they really only have $1,200. I had cash months. And I'm like, okay, I'm good at this. And I'm so big on women being good at what they're good at. And this is why now I am a sales strategist exclusively for women, period.
That is the beginning and the end. First of all, that's spectacular and also a startling statistic. I thought I kept up with all those type of statistics, but that is one I have not heard before. I just think, my process from a branding perspective is always that introspection. It always begins with self-awareness, because if you do not understand how you're hardwired, it is impossible, maybe not impossible, but it's sure going to be a lot harder to figure out how to live out your greatest strengths through your vocation. And so we do that in a variety of ways, both like in how do you sell and then behaviorally, how do you need to operate in a professional setting? And I get into all kinds of stuff. So I look at your natal chart. Listen, I'm going to be like all the way around the world. And we'll have to do yours. Because you can just see such a bigger picture, and then you can start looking for the commonalities where you and I got to, where we get to operate. Look, I'm so Sicilian. Sorry, everybody who's watching on YouTube. I talk with my hands, and then watch when well, maybe it's not doing it now, but it gets out of focus. So I apologize. Everybody listening on Apple's whatever, we can't see it. But I think the reason why you and I have been successful is because we honor who we are. We honor what we're here to do. And we honor that, I don't have to be everything to everybody. In fact, I don't even want to, because I do not have the energy for that. So
I don't have the energy. And I'm so happy you brought up the natal chart and things like that, because I am also big on human design.
Yes. What are you?
I'm a projector.
Oh, that's why we're going to be best friends. I'm a manifesting generator. And that's we get along so well.
We do. I keep getting surrounded by manifest generators.
You attract us. We're we need you.
Yes. Because what I found with manifest generators are, you guys have brilliant ideas, but sometimes can get lost in them. Yeah. Me as a projector, I am not supposed to work as much, but because I'm surrounded by manifest generators who are full of energy, I will overwork and burn myself out.
Girl, don't try to keep up with us. That's we literally, when I was a child, and now that I know that I'm a manifesting generator and what my strategy is and all that kind of stuff. And for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, I will have my friend on here who is one of the top experts in human design. But it is something I also do with my one-to-one clients. But anyways, my parents have always said that when I was a toddler, I would literally run around in circles until I dropped to go to sleep. And if you study how a manifesting generator is supposed to even move throughout their day, you have to dispel all the energy or you will not sleep. So it's our desire, or our need rather, to just go. And people look at me and they say, oh, you need to slow down. And I'm like, no, that would cause depression and anxiety in my life. Because that's not how I'm designed. Yes. So, but you do need rest.
I need rest. In fact, I had a reading, human design reading, and I was literally told, quote, you need to do the less work you do, the more money you will make. And I said, well, how's that? And at first I was like, no way. There's no way. I said, that's lazy, because I've been conditioned to work hard, work long hours, because you're not lazy. You have to, you get out of it what you put into it. Yeah. And I started my business that way, and I was exhausted, but now I work 3 hours a day, 4 days a week. 12, what is that? 12 hours a week. And I have consistent 5-figure months in my business. My clients are getting great results. And like you, I use human design in my programs as well. And not because I'm a specialist. I say, look, I am not an expert, but I want you to become aware of who you are.
Yeah. I'm I've got the software. Listen, I am really good at astrology. a lot more depth. I'm not obviously a practitioner full time, but I know tons about that. I can walk you through that. But human design, I'm like, I've got the software. I'm going to run your report, and then here's some YouTube channels to watch to like really go deeper, because
yes,
I just want you to have the information. I'm not the expert.
yes. I'm so happy to meet somebody else who believes in this, because authenticity is going to be the way that you run a business with ease, whether it's online or brick and mortar.
That's right.
And actually is going to be the way that you can start to have a lucrative and profitable business. Another startling statistic, according to the Small Business Administration, only 4 out of 10 small businesses are profitable.
Yeah.
Only 4 out of 10.
And that's male, female owned,
yes,
co-gendered, whatever. Yeah. 4%.
Whatever gender they
4
are.
out of 10.
And it's so important. Here's what I hear from women that really make me cringe, but I understand why they say things like this. It's not about the money. Or I want everybody to be able to access my services, so I'm going to price low. Or I'm just doing this because I like it. I'm like, that's great. So in what other way are you bringing in money into your home? How are you building generational wealth? How are you paying for the kids' college? Like, how are you doing these things if you're lowballing yourself? And I'm not saying everybody needs to be charging 10, 20,000. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is, when we look at what we believe about money as women, even though we are the ones opening up more businesses, small businesses in the United States, we're bringing in less than 6% of the revenue, even though we are the ones with more businesses. And please, don't go into the bro marketing. And I'm not saying we have to be aggressive, but there's ways that we can bring our femininity and our balance of masculinity into business and be profitable.
So I definitely want to get into that, but I do want to address for people like us who are like helpers by profession, it is easy. So if you're a coach, a consultant, a speaker, an online course creator, I know I have a whole lot more of you listening or watching now than I did when we first started. I was very brick and mortar. But I just want to share that I realized early on that a lot of women needed me, but I did not have the capacity to serve that many women. So that's why I started this podcast, and people will want, to pick my brain. I know they do that to you too, or buy me a $2 cup of coffee to basically get what other people pay thousands for. Yes. And which I would love to do that. But every time you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to something else. And if I say yes to that person, I'm saying no to a paying customer, to my kids, to a friend or a family member who deserves my time. So we both publish podcasts, and that is a Herculean effort. That is a lot of time and attention. So if I'm going to put all of that time and energy into producing a podcast, then I'm going to need you to go to that to get your free. And then I was like, okay, so if somebody really wants to do the work, I can tell you how many people have bought my book, $14.99. Sometimes it's like even $10 on Amazon or Walmart or Books A Million or wherever you want to get it. And I've had women who said, I know I can't afford you right now, but I read your book. I downloaded the workbook. I listened to all of your podcast episodes from start to finish. And here's the transformation I had in my business. But they had to do the freaking work.
Yes.
If you want, somebody said this on one of the groups I'm in, like maybe Kajabi or something. I was joking about a big mistake that I made, and somebody laughed. And I said, well, mistakes are my favorite way of learning. And she said, mentors or mistakes. That's how you learn. And I was like, ooh, that's good.
Oh, the 2 M's. I like that.
I know. So I want to tap into your mentorship while we have you on the show. What are some of the key strategies that you've used both in growing your business so well, and then also for your customers? Can you give us 2 or 3 musts that you have to do to be able to scale your business in a way to be profitable?
Absolutely. So outside of them getting to know themselves through human design, I have my signature slay system. Okay. That literally I walk my clients through. It helps them, because you know what, we slay as women, we need to be more confident, right? And we get beat down so much. And I'm like, no, sis, you slay. Here's how you're going to slay your business as well. So S stands for sales. Okay. I teach my clients I don't just give them a script. It's like, no, let's understand the psychology of sales. What makes people buy, right? How can you build relationships with people? And let me say this, It does not take a long time to build relationships. Some people are going to be longer.
Mhm.
I did a Clubhouse talk recently, and this person was really connected to me. She found me on social media. She came into my DM right after my Clubhouse talk and paid me in full within that hour. She has never heard of me before until she heard me talking Clubhouse.
The power of the stage.
Okay. So that's what I do. I teach them sales psychology, building relationships, and also how to put together their own scripts that sounds like them, utilizing the sales psychology that they learn. That's number one.
Mm.
Number two, I teach them to speak the language of their ideal client. That's what the L stands for. And that doesn't mean English, Spanish. That means knowing your ideal client and using the words that they use in your podcast, in your stage presence, in your speaking, wherever you are. Here's an example. I had a relationship coach, very academic, very intelligent woman. Her name is Avril Smith. She's amazing. And she was kind of stuck at about 3K months in her business. And she came to me. I said, okay, tell me, when you're speaking to your clients over the phone, what words are you hearing them? She said, oh, this awful situationship. I said, why do you think it's awful? She's like, it's just, I said, look, your marketing is not for you.
You're right. Yeah.
It's for your ideal client. I said, so just try to use that. She had a Facebook group. Try to use it. Let me tell you, she gave me this amazing video testimonials all over my website. She said the how busy my Facebook group is just because I started to speak their language. They're in my DMs. I'm making money. She made $3,000 in one day from just changing the way she speaks to her ideal client.
Yeah.
Okay.
So powerful.
A stands for automation. I teach my clients to automate. Like, okay, so after you begin doing sales calls, many of us don't want to continue doing sales calls. It doesn't make you a bad person. And that is not the only way that you can develop a relationship with your clients. If you want to continue, there's nothing wrong with that either. But either way, whether you're doing sales calls or not, we teach you how to build an automation, or we do it for you in a way that either you've nurtured them even before they get in a sales call. So now I have clients that say, look, I get on a sales call, I'm thinking I'm gonna be up there for 45 minutes. It's 10 minutes because they're like, nope, we know already. We know we want to work with you. Or I have clients who have not had sales calls in years. I'm one of those people, I don't do sales calls. And still automatically enrolling clients. I remember signing a $9,000 client while I was on a beach in Mexico, open up my email.
I've done it in line at Publix. I'm like, I shouldn't answer this. It rolled over to my cell phone. I'm going to go ahead and answer it. I'm about to check out at the grocery store. But because she was a podcast listener and because she was able to look at my YouTube videos and that sort of thing, yes, she already felt like she knew me.
You nurtured her.
But I did, but I didn't, you know what I mean? Like that's the automation, is to put yourself out there. And you're right. Like it's so important to me. And y'all know this. I always pull the curtain back because the way that I see it is if my listeners are choosing me, then they can put themselves in the position of customer for me. So if I say, hey guys, this is what I'm doing to get you to buy from me, then they can put their minds in the minds of their customers and so forth and so on. But when people write to me, I literally will copy and paste those words into a document that becomes my sales language.
Yes.
Because who I am and how I look at the world is different than my ideal client because they're not where I am yet. Yes. So why would I use my words?
Very smart, very smart. And this is why, like, when clients come to me at first and they're just starting their businesses, I'm like, I recommend sales calls.
Yeah.
Because that's the pain. That's what, yes. And then you can go to, if you choose not to do sales calls, you can go to another route. And you see, I say choose. I don't tell my clients they have to do one particular way. Mm-hmm. You are the CEO of your business. You get to do it your way.
Amen. And again, based on our human design or your I'm certified in predictive index and how to fascinate. All of those things are indicative of how you do work and how you come off to other people. And so going outside of that is just awkward for everybody anyway.
Yes.
Can we go back to the automation? Because like, for example, my brand is built on brand intimacy. And we spend a lot of money to do some deep research to figure out that people really just want to be with me, which means like they want direct access to me, which means I just have to charge more. And I don't love that, but there's like the different tiers that you can do. But if they really want in my brain, then that's limited. So we have to create an environment for that. When I'm thinking about that really high touch automation, to me, not that we don't have automation in the business, obviously we have to, but when I think of automation in the sales cycle, like my brain goes to the LinkedIn where somebody requests you on LinkedIn and then they immediately try to pitch you. And then you get put into some like, they use the software to like, hey, just want to follow up. And you're like, I don't even know who you are. So for people who think like me,
that's creepy.
That is creepy. And I know that's not you just from your vibe. So talk us through like, what does automation look like? How can that still be authentic and not creepy?
Oh, yes. So automation can look so many ways. So let's say if you are running ads, I'll use that as an example. So you're running ads and somebody comes into your funnel. So here's how I do. Somebody comes into my funnel. I nurture them through some type of a series, masterclass, or something else. But then they have to apply to work with me.
Yeah.
And here's why I do that. Yes. I mean, everyone should not have access to you. That does not mean you're being bougie. That means that you are wanting to serve the people who will get the results that you're promising. Right. So when they apply and my team and I see that they are a great fit, we believe we can work with them. Either I send them a personalized video. Like, hey, Amber, I read your application and I'm so excited to work with you. I use your name. Yes. Or I go into your DM and send you a voice message. Hey, Amber, I really loved your application. So, it's me. It's not just copy and paste. Right. Like recently I had a nurse who's ready to leave nursing and I'm a nurse. Yeah. And I was like, hey, fellow nurse, like, that's how I sign clients. So even though I'd never met her or even encountered her until she applied, I was already nurturing and building a relationship with her before she even came to me. And then when she applied and she showed that she was ready to invest at a higher level in herself, now you can get that access to me.
Because you can't bring somebody along who's unwilling to go there. That's why you have to do that. And whether it's a one-to-one call or there's got to be some way, the body copy on your sales page, there's got to be some way to filter down to the right person. And for those of you who are newer listeners who haven't been around for years, those of you who've been around for years, we don't do manipulation. We don't do scarcity. We don't do any of that kind of like crazy stuff. Not that there's not some opportunity for scarcity sometimes, as long as it's true and real and not a lie. But it's really important to understand that what we are talking about today is not about trying to con somebody into doing business with you. It's truly about setting the stage and setting the table so that the right person that you were designed to serve comes into your world so that you can serve them. Yes. And so if you're just trying to be everything to everybody and you weren't like super strategic about getting the right person and the right words and all that kind of stuff down, then you don't get to serve anybody, or at least you don't get to serve the people that you were really designed to serve, who can amplify their results because of you. So just think of it that way.
There's a marketing saying that if you market to everyone, you market to no one.
Amen.
Right. And I did that. I tried that in the beginning because like many women, I just want to serve. Mm-hmm. I love people. I literally do. But I did it to my detriment. I was signing some clients who really were not the best client, the best fit for the program.
Yeah. And there is program versus, because I have the Bombshell Business Woman brand. And yet I can show you a video of a couple of weeks ago when I was at a construction company with almost 100% male supervisors and foremen, like literally people on a job site, and they were all male. So just because you market to one particular group does not mean that you won't attract others. So always. There's that as well, but just be careful what else you're attracting. I happen to love the construction industry. Yes. So like I'm good for that.
I recently attracted architectural firm. They're like, can you help us with our, operate? Sure. Let's meet. Let's see what, what you're talking about. So you may kind of, have outliers.
Right.
That's not a bad thing.
That's right.
It should not be an influx of outliers because they're no longer outliers. It's just an indication that your marketing is not effective.
Right. Yeah. So agree.
Yeah. So automation, it's really, you still can have that intimate touch without having to exhaust yourself and your team. While being able to travel, like I travel to a new country or a new part of the country every month.
Wow.
I'm all over the world. Yes. And I absolutely love it. My kids are having fun traveling. I'm having fun traveling. I still can serve my clients. Like I built the life of my dreams. And I think that we come out here as women doing business the way we do our lives in an exhausting manner without really saying, well, what do I want? You wanting something from your business does not take away from the fact that you're service and heart-led.
And that is why in my coaching framework, the very first thing that we do is we check in with the heart, because so often we skip that and we go straight to the head and we're looking for the strategy. But if you don't check in first with your I am, because you are not scared. That's not who you are. The observer of that fear is who you are. And so we got to check in with that inner voice, not Gertrude, not the ugly inner voice, not the one that tells you can't do this or whatever. It's that inner knowing. And people will say like, well, I don't know. And I will say, I don't know is not an acceptable coaching response. So what would it look like if you did know?
Yes.
Let's talk about that. Let's just dream that you knew. Let's just pretend like you knew. What would that look like?
Yes.
And I think that
let's just dream big.
Right.
Here's one exercise I give my clients, and that really helped me and has helped them really talk about what they want. If you were a bad girl,
oh yeah,
and you didn't care about societal expectations, you didn't care about any other outside pressure, what would you want? And I mean, journal on that. Like, because at first, a lot of times we start journaling on that, and it's still like we're acting like somebody's looking over our shoulder. So we're writing all the great things. Like, I want to cure world hunger, right? We're just writing everything like, and it's like, no, okay, we want to do that. But what do you want for you? Yeah. And when I started doing that, I said, I want to travel a lot. I want to spend more time with my children traveling.
Yeah.
I want freedom of like real-time freedom where I'm not like creating another job for myself with my business.
And that's it. And so that's the thing that always drives me is I had a cush job. Granted, I worked 70 hours a week sometimes, but I had perks, I had benefits, I was treated like royalty. I was completely in charge of I had agency over what I did at work, a lot of freedom. And I had paid vacations and great insurance and all of those things. So if I'm stepping away from all of that, why would I create a business that gives me the 70-hour work week without all the perks and the good stuff? Like, why do we do that to ourselves? So
because I think we truly believe that that's what makes us service led. If I'm just laying on my couch in the middle of the day, Netflixing, or if I'm traveling and I don't have anything business related, am I truly service led?
Yeah.
And that's what we ask ourselves. And my answer is yes, because as I'm, like next week, I'm going to Colombia. Last month I was in Jamaica, right? Well, this month, because it's still March, I was in Jamaica. And while I was in Jamaica, I had a client send me a DM. She's like, Dr. Naieema, I just have a 15K month. Congratulations. My clients are not suffering.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Heck yeah. 1000%.
Yes.
Now I do travel for work. But I love it. I love getting to speak and be in person with my audiences. And that really starts the process of that brand intimacy. So I get to travel often as an attachment to work. So we'll see. Maybe we'll work on that some more. Yeah. So what's the why in Slay?
The why in Slay is your offers. So I teach my clients to build their offer, because some people are like one offer, and that's fine as well. But I teach them to build out either one offer or an offer suite of no more than 3 offers. That is positioned in a premium way. My clients want to sell high ticket.
Yep.
And a lot of times we think high ticket means all of my time. Where a lot of high ticket clients are not interested in meeting with you every other day. They're like, no, they're not interested in that. Many of them are not interested in signing, a year-long contract. Some of them are like, hey, give me 4 months. And then guess what they do at the end of that 4 months?
Renew. But they're not trying to commit to some long-term thing that blows their mind because they don't have time for it.
Yeah, they're not. And when I first came out, I had a year-long program, and that was the thing I got. Like, that's too long. That's too long. When I decreased my program to 3 and 6 months, all of a sudden I'm making 6 figures in my business because high ticket clients don't want to be with you forever. They want to have an option to be. They want, to renew, but they don't want to. So I teach my clients, you do not have to put all your time in there. High ticket clients want 2 things, or either one of these 2. They want you to save them time and or money.
That's right.
And I don't care what you do, because when I was doing weight loss, I was not promising you're going to lose weight fast, because I'm a nurse and I realized that is unhealthy. What I was promising is I'm going to save you money. I'm going to decrease the amount of meds you're going to be taking. Pharmaceuticals are expensive. I'm going to increase the amount of time you get to spend with your children. Because this is what some of my clients who were doing weight loss, they would say, my knees hurt, so I can't run around with my kids as much. I'm like, ooh. So I started using that type of stuff in my marketing, and clients were paying me $5,000-$10,000 to work with me when I was competing with the $10 a month gyms.
Right.
Because I was saving them that time. I was giving them back their time with their children. I was saving them money.
That's what premium is. I mean, if you think about it's a higher result. That's it. That's what you're paying for. You can't go to Dollar Tree and think that you're going to get the same kind of result as, pick another, place where you can get stuff that's retail. That's not to say that there is not a place for the Dollar Trees. There is a place for that, but you and I and most of my listeners, because I attract premium brands. So the word that often comes to mind for me and also for my customers is approachable luxury. So they're not like the pretentious luxury. It's a comfort luxury. You're going to get the service and you're going to get the experience, and it's going to be high end, but you're not going to feel like I'm about to break something or I'm not welcome here if I'm not X, Y, or Z. And so premium does not mean snooty, just as an aside.
No. Premium actually, when you actually sit down and you journal about what you want and you say, I want to travel, I want to build generational wealth, I want to do those things, and you're charging $17 to work with you, you have to say, okay. And I'm using that as an example because somebody actually came to me charging $17 a month to work with her.
Was that like a membership or something?
It was a membership, but no one knew who she was. You know how long it takes to scale a membership when no one knows who you are. And she wasn't interested in changing that. So I don't know what happened to her, but
you're like, but you could go find somebody who wants to help you with that problem. I don't solve that kind of problem.
She was like, oh, but I want to work with you. I said, the objective of my program does not match your goal.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah. And that's okay for you. And it's okay for me. It just means we're not a match.
Yeah. And that's okay. And I there was some other business coaches I knew, I just referred her, and I'm not sure what happened after that, but I'm just saying it's all the same. Your pricing structure, your offers, they all should align with what you want in life. I can't give all my time to my business because I'm a projector. I will be exhausted. So if I choose to do one-on-one, it has to be very high end, very boutique prices, because it sucks a lot of my energy. So which is why I don't do a lot of one-on-one. Do I do one-on-one? Yeah, but I don't do a lot of it because it doesn't align with who I am.
Yeah.
So you have to figure out what aligns with who you are and then execute your business in that manner.
Got it. I love it. I feel like we need to do 3 more episodes together because I want to get into, I know that you talk about generational curses, but we're kind of at the end of our time. So maybe we'll just have to do a follow-up or something, but I always ask before we even get into where to find you online. And I definitely want people to understand how they can work with you in your programs as well. But before we get there, what is the one piece of parting advice that you want to give to our Bombshell listeners?
I really want you to figure out what you want without the guilt, without thinking about anybody else. It doesn't make you a bad person to consider you, because when your cup is full, oh my gosh, it flows over to other people.
And you sure can't pour from an empty cup.
Sure can't.
So I love that advice. So I know I followed you on Instagram. So you are Dr. Naieema, and that is Naieema. So that's Instagram. You're at the determinedfempreneur.com. Definitely let's all subscribe to the Determined Fempreneur podcast.
Yes.
And so what do you have, like a free downloadable or something where people can kind of get like a taste of what your program is like?
Absolutely. And I'll definitely get you the link, Amber. It is, I teach you how to get to your first or next 10K plus month in a 60-day period while working less than 5 hours a day on autopilot. Is a free 3-day masterclass series. Day 1, you'll learn how to attract the right client in less than an hour a day. Day 2, you learn how to sign them into paying clients. And day 3, I teach you how to put it all on autopilot.
Hot dang. All right. Sign us all up for that. That is going to be something that, I don't, my long-term listeners know I'm very careful about who we have on the show, because if somebody does go down the rabbit hole of following you, I want to know that they're going to be in good hands. And sales is a very tricky topic in the world of women in business. Yes. So I just really want to thank you for your straight shooting nature, for your thoughtful approach that's thoughtful, not only for the business owner, but for the consumer and the person who's experiencing their brand, and for sharing so thoughtfully on the show with us today. Very much appreciate you.
Thank you for having me and letting me share with your audience and having a great dialogue with me. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Well, as always, you can find all of the information that we talked about today, all the different links to connect with Dr. Naieema in the show notes. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, it's just, click below in the description and extend that and you can get everything. Or as always, you can go to amberhurdle.com/podcast with an S and look for this episode, and everything will be in there as well. So thank you so much for listening. We are gearing up for our next season. And so that's exciting. You're going to see some changes, and nothing crazy, but just, some refreshers and updates. And we've got a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, a multi-month refresh of the website and all kinds of stuff. So, I practice what I preach. I thank you. If you love this episode or any of the other episodes, I would treasure your rating and review, honest rating and review, wherever you listen to your podcast, or just simply give this a like if you're watching on YouTube, and that will tell the Google gods that it's worth watching or listening to, and we will be able to help more people. So with that, I hope you have a fantastic week, and I will see you on the next episode. Thanks for listening to the Bombshell Business Podcast. Visit amberhurdle.com for more resources like show notes, and check out thebombshellbusinesswoman.com to grab my book and download the free bonuses.